You're 18. You have a duffel bag, a form you signed 3 weeks ago, and a bus ticket to somewhere you've never been. That's your entire life right now. And somewhere between that bus and a star on your collar, if you ever get there, there are 29 levels. Most people stay in the middle. A few burn out at the bottom. And the ones who reach the top spent 30 years becoming someone their 18-year-old self wouldn't recognize. This is how that happens. One rank at a time. E1. Private. The lowest designation in the United States Army, and the military makes sure you feel it. You don't choose your food, your schedule, your bunk, or your words. You are told when to sleep and when to stop sleeping. The first morning, Brad Meeks, a sergeant you've never met, stands 12 inches from your face and speaks at a volume that isn't about communication. It's about replacement, replacing whoever you were before with someone the Army can use. You make roughly $1,700 a month. You think you know what hard is. You don't yet. E2. Private second class. It comes automatically. 8 weeks in, sometimes less. The title changes. The reality doesn't. But something has shifted. You've survived the initial break-in, the part designed to strip away everything civilian. The proof is small. You folded a corner this morning without thinking about it. Your hands just knew. That's what the Army is actually building at this stage. Not a soldier, but a body that obeys before the mind catches up. Small things. They don't feel small. That's the point. E3. Private first class. You have a stripe. Enough experience to be useful and not enough rank to be dangerous. You execute, you don't question. You learn that the military runs not on generals and strategy, but on people exactly like you. People who show up, carry the weight, and don't ask why until later. The work is physical. The hours are physical. Everything costs something physical. You are paid about $2,000 a month. You also receive housing, food, healthcare. You stop calculating what things cost in the way you used to. E4. Specialist or corporal. Here's where you first get a choice about what kind of soldier you want to be. The specialist lane. Technical, skilled, respected for what you know. The corporal lane. Leadership, responsibility. Eyes watching you to see if you can hold it. Most people take E4 and stay there for a while, treading water. Figuring out if this is the thing they actually want to do with the next decade. Some re-enlist here. Some get out. Some quietly become indispensable and don't realize it yet. E5. Sergeant. This is the first time the military trusts you with other people. 4 to 5 soldiers. Their performance, their morale, their mistakes. All of it runs through you now. You are the person closest to the ground-level work, the one who translates orders into actions. One night, one of your soldiers comes to you instead of a hotline, instead of a chaplain, comes to you. And whatever you say in the next 60 seconds will matter more than any training you've received. You make around $2,600 a month. You are also now, for the first time, responsible for people who may be sent into places where they don't come back. You stop sleeping quite the same way. E6. Staff Sergeant. Now you have a squad, 9 to 10 people. You've navigated the particular bureaucracy of the military machine. Its forms, its procedures, its unwritten rules that matter more than the written ones. But the thing that changes you at E6 isn't the paperwork. It's the moment you have to look a soldier in the eye and tell him he's being passed over for promotion. And then turn around and make sure he still performs. You know which battles to fight and which to absorb. That specific skill, the ability to hold two contradictory things without breaking, is something no one teaches you. You just develop it, or you don't. E7. Sergeant First Class, the enlisted backbone, senior NCO. You are the institutional memory of your unit. The person who has seen 3 commanders cycle through, watched policy shift twice, and kept the unit functional through all of it. Junior soldiers come to you before they go to anyone with a commission. There is a specific moment that happens at this rank, usually quietly, usually alone. You realize you've stopped being shaped by the Army and started shaping it back. Not the face in the recruitment poster. The face that has been through the promotion board, through a deployment, through a fitness test at 40 years old at 0500 in January. You've stopped counting. You just work. Each 8. Master Sergeant or First Sergeant. 2 paths again. Master Sergeant. Technical expert, senior advisor, the person who knows the system so completely they've become part of the system. First Sergeant. the senior NCO of an entire company, 200 soldiers, all the commander's right hand and the soldier's last direct line to anyone who will actually listen. The weight of first sergeant is specific. It arrives the first time a soldier's spouse calls you because they have nowhere else to turn. The title is the role. The role is total. Your personal life bends around it. That's not a complaint. That's the deal. E9. Sergeant Major, you have spent 20 plus years earning this. Fewer than 1% of enlisted personnel reach this grade. You no longer do the job of the younger ranks. You shape the environment those ranks operate in. What changes at E9 is not your authority, but your silence. You've learned that the most powerful thing you can do in a room full of people making noise is say nothing and wait and let the right answer surface. You are policy made human, culture made uniform. You remember how this felt at E1. You never say that out loud, but you use it every single day. There is another path entirely. It doesn't start with a bunk assignment or a sergeant's voice in your face. It starts with a diploma, a ceremony, and a gold bar that gives you authority over people who have already paid in years what you haven't yet paid in months. That gap between the rank on your collar and the experience behind it is the defining pressure of the officer world. Everything that follows is the story of closing it. 01. Second Lieutenant. You are 22 years old with a college degree, a gold bar, and soldiers who have been doing this job since before you graduated high school. Your staff sergeant has forgotten more than you currently know, and you both understand this without saying it. The specific discipline of 01 is learning to lead someone who could do your job better than you, and earning their respect through the quality of your attention, not the rank on your chest. The ones who don't figure this out tend to learn it through a mistake they spend years carrying. 02. First Lieutenant. You've been in the field now. Real field, real conditions, the kind where plans dissolve on contact and you improvise in front of people watching to see if you'll fold. You didn't fold. That matters to you more than you expect. You have a platoon, a mission set, a growing conviction that the gap between training and reality is not a flaw in the system. It is the system. The officers who understand this become good. The ones who keep waiting for conditions to match the manual get people hurt. 03. Captain, Command. Your own company. The weight of it arrives not when you sign the orders, but the first time something goes wrong and every face in the room turns toward yours. Not upward, toward. You are the ceiling now, not the floor. You are senior enough that your mood becomes the unit's weather. Not a metaphor, a management fact. And you learn it by accident, usually by having a bad day in front of 80 people. 04. Major. You step back from direct command and into the architecture of operations, the orders, the logistics, the coordination that makes field-level work possible. The hardest part is not the staff work, it's the grief of it. You joined to lead people, now you lead processes. The ones who stay understand eventually that designing the conditions for someone else's success is its own form of command. Quieter, invisible. And more demanding because no one will see it happen. 05. Lieutenant Colonel, Battalion Command, up to 800 soldiers. Not everyone gets here. The selection is precise and unforgiving and littered with the careers of people who were excellent but not excellent enough at the right moment. If you get the command, something unexpected happens. You stop thinking about your career entirely. There is no room. The job fills every available surface of your attention, and what's left over goes to your people, and what's left after that goes to sleep, and in the morning you start again. A single decision at this level can follow a soldier home for the rest of his life. You carry that. 06. Colonel, Brigade Command, 3,000 to 5,000 personnel. You brief generals. You coordinate across services. You have spent 2 decades becoming someone who can hold this much complexity without losing the thread. Your family has moved 11 times. Your kids have had 4 high schools between them. You don't talk about that at work. It is also, quietly, the entire foundation of everything. The reason you are steady when others aren't. The reason you understand sacrifice not as an abstraction but as a mortgage paid in other people's disrupted lives. 07. Brigadier General, 1 star. The line you cross at 07 is not a promotion, it's a transformation. You notice it first in how rooms change when you enter them. Conversations that were already in progress stop. Opinions that were forming quietly retract. You have not changed. The gravity has. Fewer than 0.02% of military personnel ever reach this grade. You are no longer in the Army the way you used to be. You are of it. And the distance between those two things is lonelier than you expected. 08. Major General. 2 stars. You are one of fewer than 150 2-star generals in the entire United States Army. At this grade, the loneliness becomes architectural. There is no one left who will tell you when you're wrong without calculating the cost of saying so first. The people around you are excellent, loyal, and permanently, structurally downstream of your authority. You learn to read the silences, to find the truth in what isn't said, because what is said has already been filtered for your comfort. That is the tax on this rank. You pay it every day. 09. Lieutenant General. 3 stars. You sign a document on a Tuesday. By Thursday, ICED has moved through 17 offices and changed the deployment schedule of 40,000 soldiers. Their training cycles, their family separations, their risk. You will never meet most of them. They will never know your name. But on that Tuesday, you were the variable their entire year pivoted on. The weight of 09 is not the decisions themselves. It's the invisibility of their consequences. The way your choices ripple out past the edge of what you can see or track or ever be held accountable for in any human sense. 010. General. 4 stars. Chief of Staff. Combatant Commander. You brief the President. You testify before Congress. Your decisions reach into allied capitals, into treaty obligations, into the kind of history that gets written after you're gone. And sometimes, not often, but sometimes, in the back of a motorcade or the silence before a hearing begins, you think about a kid on a bus. Not yourself, exactly. Someone like you at the start. And you realize the machine you once feared, the one that met you at the station and broke you down and built you into this, is now, in some irreducible way, you. That should feel like victory. Mostly it does. But there are mornings when it feels like something else. Like the duffel bag is still sitting somewhere, unclaimed, full of a life you never quite got around to living. Somewhere tonight, a kid signs a form. He doesn't know what he's starting. He doesn't know what it costs. He just knows he wants something larger than where he's standing. The machine will meet him at the bus. It always does. And one day, if he goes far enough, he'll look in the mirror and realize he is the machine. And spend the rest of his life deciding whether that's the answer or the question. The machine doesn't wait, but you can. Subscribe. And the next video will find you on its own. Hit like if you spent even a second imagining yourself on one of these levels. And drop a comment, E or O. Which path is yours?